Okay, let's go live. Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 13th of February. So let's get on and look at these markets. In fact, before I just look at the currencies themselves and the opportunities that might be setting up, let's just look at the possible news impact data. We've had the Swissy inflation already out, came out at 0.6 versus 0.5. There was lots of positivity amongst the individual numbers. Year on year 3.3, month on month that was 0.6 versus 0.4 in some cases, so the forecast was slightly different, but either way it was above the forecast. So okay, so that's inflation out there. There are some speakers this morning. 9 o'clock we got German Schultz speaking, then we got ECB speaker at 9:40, then it's pretty clear until 1 o'clock. I should imagine what these speakers have got to say is probably pretty much the same old really. Okay, let's have a look at the markets themselves then, and well, just looking at the euro dollar, largely in that upper move. However, it's just gone and put us a lower high, and it's just taken out those prior lows there, and I say just, but certainly made sure it went through through the Asian session. And I do question this sort of whole price action, so it's still looking to me a bit bearish. Now it's probably divergence across these lows, or diverging across these lows. We'll see what really comes of that, but really at the moment I'm just looking to see what it does into its daily pivot. Did it on Friday, popped back to the pivot, then back down again. So it's looking like it's got scope at least. The pound, similar picture really ish, but it hasn't, well, put a lower high in at the tops here, but since then it's been moving quite cleanly. But whether or not it can hook up some more, it is back to its weekly pivot where it sits at the moment, and not that far away from the daily pivot. Would prefer always for these to come in, but like on Friday, it was actually focusing it on Friday, and it just didn't come for me. I mean, it eventually went at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but I was actually sitting on this one because it had a better target, but didn't come to be there. US dollar yen. Well, the yen seems to be softening a little bit here. Same old pitch really, higher lows, the higher low there. It just looks like it's turning around. That data from just over a week ago, it seems to be leaving these markets in a bit more sort of limbo at this stage. We've got inflation coming out tomorrow for the US, I believe, so that, and UK employment data, etc. But it's that US inflation that's quite key tomorrow afternoon. But we've got the higher lows here, running into its R1 already, retested. This is on the daily basis. A pullback and a break through that could see us running up to the R2 at this rate. So it's got a reasonable probability of doing that if it does it, if that makes sense. If it breaks the R1, then it's got a reasonable probability running towards its R2. Australian dollar, very similar picture through most of these markets. There's little difference. The only thing is it's hit its weekly pivot, and it's pretty much hit the daily pivot as well there. So already hit the pivot. I don't like the pattern quite so much, although it is putting lower highs in. It's gradually putting more and more lower highs in, not quite as aggressive as some of the markets, but still a bit iffy. Finally, US dollar CAD, again, it's just continuing to consolidate. It looks pretty good on Friday that it was going to roll some more, but did it? No, it just stayed in range pretty much at the time until, well, Sunday night, and then it's rolled around a little bit at the moment. But I just really don't like the pairing, so I'd leave that. Cross pairs, a couple of cross pairs. Euro yen, that wasn't one of them. What else was I looking at? I was looking at at least one. Yeah, Euro CAD looks a bit iffy. Could be ready to priming to roll back south again. And maybe, sorry, Euro Aussie and Euro CAD that's already done it. There's at least one of these that was looking. I should have marked it. Pound Aussie, Pound CAD. Yeah, Pound CAD looks quite soft. There's quite a few of these that look quite soft, but might be in the Aussie CAD again. Aussie CAD's already pushing. So I was looking at the wrong time frame on those. Let's just run back to those. The right time frame. I was looking at dailies. Yeah. Let's just come back to the Euro Aussie. Yeah, Euro Aussie. There you go. And yeah, I knew it was on there. So it's the bearish engulfing at the moment. Key reversal bar just looks like it could roll over. Just be very careful that post 8 o'clock, but there's a possibility. Right, let's move on then and look at the other markets. He says we'll switch markets for now. Morning, Michael. So I'll click onto that one and we'll have a look at gold first. So gold rolling off southbound, a little bit lower high there as well, similar old case. It consolidated for much more of the week really. Did come off in the morning a little bit more, but never rolled quite the same, although it's like in this bit of price action here we're starting to see it continue through here by looks of things, and it's just a case of waiting for the next mover. Spot crude, Western Texas, let's just look at what's happening there. So Friday it did push up there, morning Yarrow pushed up. It's looking like it's got some scope, but every time it does, well, it's put the higher lows in. I tell you what, if we do see the dollar being sold off, it's got certainly better chance of doing better. At the moment it's a bit like, well, Friday it did actually go at 8 o'clock and just didn't look back, but just the way it goes. Had to sit there and patient for that. Looking at the Asian markets then, I'll just look at them from a daily perspective here, and we're seeing a little bit more of a bounce on the CSI 300. As I said on Friday, I'm surprised that we haven't seen a bit more to the upside on this, and well, it's starting there. It's certainly, to me, looking a bit more bullish. The Nikkei is slightly behind the curve now, but this could just be looking for support before it takes for another push. Nifty 50 is the weaker of the markets here. Quite the opposite here really, looking at the potential breakdown maybe tomorrow of this current candle. S&Ps still consolidating where it is at the moment, lower highs on the lower time frame, very similar to the currency markets really. Looking even to the short term here, little sort of flaggy pattern that could roll over. Dow similar but choppy. There we go, and the Nasdaq, which had been leading things, just continuing to sell off in the short term at the moment. So just very, very messy. It really is Groundhog Day here. Looking at some of these markets, the German DAX, well, it's been doing quite well. Friday rolled over, put the pivot swing in, looking a bit precarious up there. Divergence across the highs, I would imagine. Sold off from that on the 4 hourlies, and just looking iffy here at this stage. Maybe it will get back up towards its daily pivot. It was so similar on Friday. I saw the 8 o'clock candle pushing up towards the pivot, never quite got there and folded. Whether we see a similar thing here at the moment, not looking the best on the short term. Looking okay on the longer term. Intermediate again, not looking so great. The FTSE, well, FTSE continues putting positive days in fractionally, and it's slightly up this morning. It's just hanging in there. The constituents are the right mix for the current conditions by looks of things, and it really could just see a break of this current bar and a push up towards its daily R1. Okay, that's pretty much it for me this morning. Oh, a bit of quickly look at what happens to crypto over the weekend. Quick look at Bitcoin. See, the answer there is not a lot. It's still consolidating in its range here. Litecoin was doing better, but same consolidation. No real big moves over these over the weekend. So all consolidation, all a bit iffy, and there's probably, in terms of the main forex markets, I think it's quite a bit of waiting again for those inflation numbers, as I said. Okay, I'll leave it there. Catch you in the morning. Take care. Bye for now.